Hi, boys and girls. So we have been talking about making connections. We talked about text-to-text connections where you are comparing two books. You're kind of saying, this book reminds me to things in this book. And then we talked a little bit about text-to-world connections. That's where something in the book reminds you of something happening in our world, something that's kind of big. Okay? So I'm going to read you part of a book today, not the whole thing because it's kind of long. And we're going to talk about what the author's message is. Because a lot of the times in a text-to-world book, the author or the person who wrote the book is trying to tell you something, send you a message, okay? Maybe teach you a lesson, all right? And after I read this book, I'm sending you a link to a very short YouTube video. It's super cute. And it's a Pixar short flick. And a lot of those Pixar short flicks send some type of a message. So they're trying to teach you something from what's happening to the characters in the story. So you have to kind of think about the lesson that they're trying to teach you. Okay, so I think you might kind of like it. So here's the book that I'm going to start with today. It's called The Great Kapuk Tree. So here we go. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's a long book. Two men walked into the rainforest. Moments before, the forest had been alive with the sounds of squawking birds and howling monkeys. Now all was quiet as the creatures watched the two men and wondered why they had come. The larger man stopped and pointed to the great kapuk tree, and then he left. The smaller man took the axe he carried and struck the trunk of the tree. Whack, whack, whack! The sounds of the blows rang through the forest. The wood of the tree was very hard. Chop, chop, chop! The man wiped off the sweat that ran down his face and neck. Whack, chop, whack, chop! Soon the man grew tired, and he sat down to rest at the foot of the great kapuk tree. Before he knew it, the heat and hum of the forest had lulled him off to sleep. A boa constrictor lived in the kapuk tree, and he slithered down its trunk to where the man was sleeping. He looked at the gash the axe had made in the tree, and then the huge snake slid very close to the man and hissed in his ear. Senor, this tree is a tree of miracles. It is my home, where generations of my ancestors have lived. Do not chop it down. A bee buzzed in the sleeping man's ear. Senor, my hive is in this kapuk tree, and I fly from tree to tree and flower to flower, collecting pollen. In this way, I pollinate the trees and flowers throughout the rainforest. You see, all living things depend on one another. A troop of monkeys scampered down from the canopy of the great kapuk tree, and they chattered to the sleeping man. Senor, we have seen the ways of man. You chop down one tree, then come back for another and another. The roots of these great trees will wither and die, and there will be nothing left to hold the earth in place. When the heavy rains come, the soil will be washed away, and the forest will become a desert. So just thinking about what we've read so far, each of the animals is visiting the man while he is sleeping. The man wants to chop down the tree, and the animals are telling him why he should not chop down the tree, right? They're kind of teaching him about how important the tree is to the forest and to the animals. So a text-to-world connection would be that in our world, people chop down trees and destroy nature. And so we have to kind of think about how that will affect other things, right? And maybe if we chop down one tree, we need to plant another. So the lesson here, what is the author, what is the person who wrote this book trying to tell us? They're trying to tell us to take care of nature and to be careful about what we take, right? What we chop down. That's the message they're sending. They're saying, be careful, take care of nature, take care of the forests. That's the message they're sending us, okay? In the video that I'm sending you, it's called Piper. It's really cute. It's about a little bird, and he's learning how to catch his food. So I want you to really think about the lesson that Piper learns in the video, okay? Because he has a really hard time at first. And think about what he does and what he learned from it, okay? And that's what I want you to tell me. I want you to just say, or you could type it, write it, or you could video yourself telling me the lesson that Piper learned and what the person who made that video is trying to teach you, okay? It's kind of the message that they're sending.